The notification hit my phone at exactly 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon, as I sat in the hospital parking lot after another grueling 12-hour shift as a pediatric nurse. My mother's message in our family group chat was devastatingly casual, almost cheerful in its cruelty. "This Christmas, we're hosting your sister Lauren's fiancé, David, and his family from Connecticut. We won't have room for you and Emma at the dinner table." My 7-year-old daughter, Emma, brilliant and autistic, had apparently become disposable for the sake of impressing some strangers from the wealthy suburbs of Fairfield County. Then came Lauren's follow-up message that made my blood boil. "But we still want you to cook dinner like always." Dad chimed in with his trademark selfishness. "And don't make us feel bad about it. I still want my expensive Christmas gift." I stared at those words, sitting in my car while other families walked by, holding hands and laughing together, and realized that after 32 years, I was finally done being the family's unpaid servant. This wasn't shocking news. This was just Tuesday in the Parker family of suburban Cleveland, Ohio. For over a decade, I'd been the designated cook, gift buyer, event planner, and emotional caretaker for everyone, while somehow never quite measuring up to be considered real family. When Lauren graduated from Case Western Law School, who planned her celebration party for 50 people? Me. When Dad needed his gallbladder surgery last spring, who took unpaid time off work to drive him to Cleveland Clinic appointments? Me. When Mom wanted to impress her book club with homemade appetizers every month, who catered those meetings for free? You already know the answer. But somehow, despite all my contributions, I was never quite family enough to actually sit at the table when it mattered. I glanced at Emma's booster seat in my rearview mirror, still decorated with her favorite rainbow unicorn stickers. She'd been counting down to Christmas since Halloween, making elaborate lists of sugar cookies we'd bake together and asking if we could put extra lights on our house this year. How was I supposed to explain to my brilliant little girl that Grandma didn't think she belonged at the family table? The thing about Emma that my family never understood is that she experiences the world with an intensity and clarity that most adults have forgotten how to access. She can recite every species of dinosaur from the Mesozoic era, solve math problems that impress her second-grade teachers, and notice details about people's emotions that escape everyone else. She just processes sensory input differently, needs routine to feel secure, and sometimes gets overwhelmed in chaotic environments. To my family, this translated to one word: embarrassment. Ever since Emma's autism diagnosis 3 years ago, family gatherings had become exercises in managing everyone else's discomfort with neurodiversity. They'd whisper about her stimming behaviors and suggest maybe she needed more intensive therapy, which was code for keep her away from us when important people are around. They'd forgotten to mention time changes for Easter brunch, conveniently left us off the invitation list for the annual Lake Erie Cottage weekend, and consistently arranged seating that somehow never quite accommodated Emma and me. My phone buzzed again, Lauren's latest demand. "Oh, and can you pick up Dad's new golf club set from Dick's Sporting Goods?" "Thanks." "Right, of course. Let me just drop another $1,000 on someone who couldn't be bothered to save his granddaughter a chair at Christmas dinner." I sat there in that hospital parking lot, watching other families live their normal lives, and did something I'd never done before in my entire adult life. I turned off my phone without responding to a single message. That's when I realized something that would change everything. I didn't have to accept this treatment anymore. The emergency department was unusually quiet that evening, which gave me too much time to think while I helped Dr. Martinez treat a young boy who'd fallen off his bike. Kids are honest in a way adults forget how to be. This little guy looked at his scraped knee and said exactly what he felt. "This hurts." Simple, direct, no family politics required. During my break, I finally turned my phone back on to find 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. The family group chat looked like a tornado had hit it. "Mom, Bianca, answer your phone immediately." "Dad, this is ridiculous behavior, young lady." "Lauren, are you seriously ignoring us right now?" Then I saw something that made my blood pressure spike. A message from my Aunt Carol, who had apparently been added to the group chat. "I heard about Christmas dinner. Can't wait to meet Lauren's fiancé. What time should we arrive?" They'd invited extended family from Akron. There was plenty of room at that table. They just didn't want Emma and me there. I scrolled through years of similar patterns, each memory hitting like a physical blow. The family vacation to Myrtle Beach that Emma and I weren't invited to because it might be too stimulating for her. The Thanksgiving dinner where I cooked for 14 people, but somehow there were only 13 place settings. Each time, I'd made excuses for them, convinced myself it was just poor planning rather than deliberate exclusion. But sitting there at 2 a.m., still in my scrubs, I finally spoke the truth I'd been avoiding to my colleague Sarah. My family is ashamed of my daughter because she's autistic. The words hung in the air like a confession that changed everything. The next morning, Emma bounced into our kitchen, wearing her favorite Christmas pajamas covered in dancing reindeer. She'd been planning our holiday traditions since October, making detailed lists of cookies we'd bake and decorations we'd hang. Her excitement was infectious and pure, without any adult complications attached. "Mama, can we make those reindeer brownies with the pretzel antlers this weekend?" she asked, carefully organizing her breakfast items in the precise line she needed to feel right in her world. Watching her arrange toast, orange juice, and vitamins with mathematical precision, I wondered how anyone could look at this beautiful, brilliant child and see a problem to be managed rather than a gift to be celebrated. That's when inspiration struck like lightning. I opened my laptop and started researching Christmas in New York City. The Plaza Hotel had a special holiday package that cost exactly what I'd been planning to spend on family gifts. Ice skating in Central Park, the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center, Broadway shows with matinee performances perfect for a 7-year-old who loves music and stories. Emma peered over my shoulder with curious eyes. "What's that, Mama?" "I'm looking at a very special Christmas adventure. Just you and me." Her face lit up like Times Square. "Like a real adventure with fancy hotels and room service?" "Exactly like that, sweetheart." For the first time in years, I felt genuine excitement bubbling up inside me. Not the anxious energy of trying to please impossible people, but real anticipation for something magical. The family calls intensified over the next few days. Each voicemail grew more demanding than the last. Dad left a particularly charming message. "Bianca Marie Parker, you call me back this instant. This childish behavior needs to stop. We have a dinner to plan, right?" We, as if I was part of the planning instead of just the unpaid kitchen staff. When Mom finally caught me during my lunch break, her voice was tight with barely controlled panic. "Bianca, finally. Do you have any idea how worried we've been?" "Worried about what, exactly?" "About you? You haven't responded to anything. Laura needs to finalize the menu, and your father is concerned about his golf clubs." I took a deliberate bite of my turkey sandwich, chewing slowly. Amazing how different conversations felt when you weren't desperately trying to fix everyone else's problems. "Mom, where exactly are Emma and I supposed to eat this magical dinner you're planning?" Silence. "Then, well, you understand the situation. David's family is quite traditional, from old Connecticut money, and with Emma's challenges, it might be better for everyone if you handle the kitchen duties while we manage the formal dining." Kitchen duties, like hired help who wasn't worthy of sitting down with the family she'd served for years. "So we cook, but we don't eat." "Don't be dramatic, Bianca. You know we love you both. It's just complicated this year." "Actually, it's quite simple. You're embarrassed of my daughter." It's not about embarrassment. It's about what works best for everyone. Everyone except Emma and me. I hung up without saying goodbye, something that would have horrified me just a week earlier. Now it felt like the only sane response to complete insanity. December 23rd dawned crisp and bright in Cleveland, the kind of winter morning that makes everything look like a Norman Rockwell painting. Emma was awake before her alarm, sitting cross-legged on her bed with her purple suitcase open, methodically checking her packing list one final time with the thoroughness of a NASA engineer. "Mama, did you remember your fancy dress for the hotel restaurant?" "I did." "Did you remember your special ice skating mittens?" "Check, and my camera for pictures, and my Christmas journal, and my comfort blanket for the train." We were taking Amtrak to New York, something Emma had been thrilled about since I told her. She loved the rhythm of train travel, the predictable rocking motion that felt like being gently rocked while watching America slide by outside her window. My phone had been mercifully quiet all morning, though I expected that to change soon. By now, someone would have realized that Christmas dinner for 12 people wasn't going to magically cook itself. As we loaded our suitcases into my Honda, my neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, appeared at her mailbox with her usual friendly curiosity. "Going somewhere special for the holidays?" "New York City, Emma's first time." Emma practically bounced on her toes. "We're going to see the giant Christmas tree and go ice skating and eat fancy pancakes in our room." "How wonderful." Nothing quite like Christmas in the city. The train pulled away from Cleveland's lakefront station as my phone started ringing insistently. Mom's number flashed on the screen. I glanced at Emma, who was completely absorbed in documenting our journey in her travel journal, drawing careful pictures of everything she expected to see. Bianca, thank goodness. Where are you? I'm standing in Giant Eagle, and I can't find the shopping list you usually make. I'm not making a list this year, Mom. What do you mean? You always make the shopping list. How am I supposed to know what ingredients you need? I'm not cooking this year, remember? Lauren said she'd handle it. But Lauren doesn't know how to cook for 12 people. 12 people. Even in her panic, she couldn't acknowledge that Emma and I had been excluded from her count. Then maybe you should have thought of that before you decided we weren't family enough to eat with. Bianca, where are you? You sound different. I looked out the train window at the Ohio countryside rushing past, then at Emma coloring contentedly beside me, and felt something I hadn't experienced in years. Complete peace. I'm exactly where I belong, Mom. The Plaza Hotel lobby was everything I dreamed and more. Marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers that probably cost more than my annual salary, and Emma's eyes went wide as she took in holiday decorations that belonged in a fairy tale. A massive Christmas tree dominated the center space, decorated with gold and silver ornaments that caught the light like captured stars. Mama, it's like stepping into a movie. The concierge treated Emma like visiting royalty, offering her a special Plaza teddy bear and explaining all the holiday activities with genuine enthusiasm. No one looked at her with judgment or whispered about her excited hand-flapping. Here, her joy was simply appreciated for what it was. Beautiful. Our suite on the 12th floor had windows overlooking Central Park, and Emma ran from room to room, exploring every luxurious detail. The sitting area had furniture more elegant than anything in our house, and the bathroom had a marble tub deep enough for proper bubble baths. Can we really order whatever we want from this menu? She asked, studying the room service options with scientific precision. Anything your heart desires, sweetheart. 20 minutes later, we were sitting by the enormous windows, sharing warm chocolate chip cookies and watching horse-drawn carriages circle the park below. Emma had changed into her favorite unicorn pajamas and was providing running commentary like her own personal travel documentary. That's when my phone, which I'd reluctantly turned back on, exploded with notifications. 17 missed calls, 42 text messages, and voicemails that probably contained language Emma shouldn't hear. But mixed in with the family panic were messages that surprised me. My cousin Jake from California. Good for you, Bianca. About time someone stood up to them. My Aunt Martha from Pittsburgh. Honey, I heard about Christmas. I'm proud of you for choosing yourself and Emma. Apparently, word had spread beyond our immediate family, and not everyone was horrified by my rebellion. Emma looked up from her cookie. Are they very angry at us? They're surprised. They're not used to people saying no to them. Will they figure out how to make dinner without us? I thought about Lauren standing in a kitchen with no idea how to defrost a 20 lb turkey, Mom frantically calling restaurants that were already booked solid for Christmas, and Dad realizing his expensive golf clubs weren't magically appearing under the tree. They'll learn. Sometimes people need to solve their own problems. Christmas Eve brought perfect ice skating weather. Emma held my hand tightly as we stepped onto the Woolman rink, surrounded by snow-covered trees and families laughing together without any drama or exclusion. She fell exactly 3 times and got up giggling each time, eventually making friends with another little girl whose family was visiting from Texas. Watching Emma glide across the ice with pure joy, I realized this was what childhood was supposed to look like. Unguarded, free from the anxiety of trying to be perfect for people who would never be satisfied. That evening, as we shared chocolate soul in the Plaza's elegant dining room, my phone rang one final time. Lauren's voice was smaller than I'd ever heard it, stripped of all her courtroom authority. Bianca, I need to tell you something. We tried to cook dinner ourselves today. How did that go? It was a complete disaster. The turkey was raw inside and burned outside. Mom had a complete meltdown. Dad ordered pizza for 12 people, and David's parents looked like they wanted to disappear through the floor. For the first time in our conversation, Lauren admitted something that changed everything. David's mother asked why our regular caterer wasn't available. I had to tell her the truth, that we don't have a caterer, that our sister has been doing everything for years, and we took it completely for granted. The vulnerability in her voice was something I'd never heard before. David's father works with special needs kids in his law practice. He explained things about autism that we never understood, how intelligent autistic children often are, how their different way of processing the world can be a gift. 3 months later, Emma and I were planning our spring break trip to San Francisco. We'd started a tradition of taking special adventures together, just the 2 of us. My family had kept their promises about doing better with varying degrees of success, but that was their journey to navigate. Emma and I had learned the most important lesson of all. Our worth wasn't determined by other people's ability to recognize it. We were enough just as we were, and we'd never forget that again. After all, once you've had Christmas at the plaza, everything else is just gravy.